So guys, welcome back to F1 2017 career mode. We are here at Belgium for the Belgian Grand Prix, and this is one of the fantastic tracks of the calendar. In fact, one of the crucial races, but our race goals are to finish in 11th or higher to beat our rival, and in the championship 15th we're on target to finish there anyway. So just before we go into this race, I'm just going to upgrade the durability on the turbocharger because I've noticed that the turbocharger does wear quite a lot now in comparison to other parts. As you can see, we're on our third one, and that's yellow, and we have to take another turbocharger till the end of the season if we have to change it. So I don't quite know at this point, but I'm switching over to the third components of some parts just to try and get an edge here. And in fact, I can afford to do that because we've took our engine, surprisingly. We've took 2 units up until round 12, which is on average about 6. So we're kind of on track to kind of finish the season with just 4 engines. I don't know about the turbocharger though, but that's going to be one of our focuses for next season anyways. But here we go, we're just approaching the grid now. It's round 12, so we're nearly at the end of the season, not too far. So it's the 2 Mercedes that look out the front row. It's kind of surprising that Ferrari didn't get anywhere, but then there's Vettel and Verstappen, and followed by Ricciardo, and then there's Massa, surprisingly. We're in P8. Kimi Räikkönen got a penalty, so he was where Vettel was. They were on the second row, and yeah, we at the back, normally it's just the usual suspects of Ericsson, Verline, and then the McLarens as well. They're normally the worst cars. But we're going to take a look at the race strategy. Now, we're starting on the Ultra Softs, as you can see. It's going to be dry for the full race. We're going on to a set of Super Softs around lap 4. So the Ultras aren't really going to go that far. And in fact, the only reason I'm on the Ultras is because I got into Q3. I think in Q3, if you make it into the top 10, you have to start on the tyres you qualified on. I'm not too sure if that's either Q2 or Q3, but I don't know. Anyways, we're starting on Ultras. And yeah, the soft tyre is kind of like out of the way. We're not using that. We're going to be very aggressive this race, just because this is a track that we can afford to be aggressive on, because I think we did the aggressive strategy at Hungary and we got a podium there. So in theory, if we do it again, we should get quite far up the field, because we're in P8 of course. It's pointless going on to a set of Ultras first and then going on to the softs. It's really just pointless, because otherwise you just lose all the time you gain at the start of the race. So kind of, if you're in the top 10, you're going to go for the aggressive strategy unless something happens. But on the formation lap, we're just behind Perez, just in front of Räikkönen, after he got that penalty. Of course, so we're going to have to keep him behind, and it might be a bit of a difficult task, but we should be able to do it. But it just depends, really, what we can get off the start. Tyres are all warmed up, no rain forecast for the entirety of this race, so we should be able to stick to our strategy, unless we have just some insane moment early on in the race. Hope we don't have a safety car within the first like 3 laps. That'll be great if we don't, because then that'll allow us to push more. But here we go to the start of the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa 5, red lights, and we are away. Perez got a really bad start on the Ultras, so did Massa. We've got an excellent start, in fact, going into turn 1. Let's see what we can do. 3 wide between Verstappen, Hamilton and Vettel. Ricciardo gives us a little knock, asking for a bit more space, but we're up into P5 already, and we're behind Max Verstappen, and we are not going to make a move through not the source, Eau Rouge. We're not going to make a move there, but round the outside of the exit of Eau Rouge now, and Bottas and Vettel are going pretty slowly because they're being hampered by Hamilton here. So here we go, down into the braking zone. Vettel weaves to my inside there, and we're going to go 3 wide, myself, Hamilton and Vettel, but then we lose out and go side by side with Bottas. And we're just trying to keep Bottas behind now. He's obviously in the Mercedes. He goes side by side here, down to this lovely corner here. We just about fend him off there for P3. That's going to be an impossible task during the later stages of the race, because Mercedes are just a million times faster. Best car, best power unit, what can you really do? But Hamilton and Vettel come in quite early on lap 3 to probably get the undercut on the likes of Bottas, myself and Verstappen. So lap 4, we come into the pit lane from the lead of the race to strap on a set of super softs, and the tyres really don't go that long, I'll be quite honest. So kind of the ultras with the starting tyre. Really, in essence, we should really start on the super softs because that would have benefited us a lot more. But here we are in the pit stops, setting a set of not ultras, super softs, and we're going to see where this takes us. And we just come out behind Fernando Alonso and ahead of Ericsson, so those guys have started on the hardest compounded tyre, and they're going to try and go quite a long way into the race, if not like halfway, and perhaps strap on a set of supers at the end, completely avoiding the ultra softs. But we should be able to catch up to Alonso here. We're just sticking it in standard, no real need to put it in rich because we have Alonso in the McLaren, they're the slowest car, but we have Stroll, I think that is. Lance Stroll has gone off the track, and we get a free position. Okay, I'll take it. And we're just closing up to Fernando Alonso. There's some yellow flags behind us again. Not too sure who that's for, but wait, there's a massive incident, I think. And Raikkonen's out. Full course safety car. So, you know when I said I didn't really want a safety car, well, it's lap 5 and we've got one. That will hamper us slightly because we are behind Alonso now because he's the slower car. It's going to be a bit of a difficult task trying to kind of like get past him. But in essence, it's a free pit stop what we've gotten again, kind of, because our tyre wear is very minimal. And yeah, we've pretty much got an edge over the other cars in the field, but there's another car in the pit lane just on the exit, in fact, and because of the safety car, in fact, that car, which I think is Ricciardo, is going to end up being a lot further ahead. So in a way, if that had been green flags, I probably would have got past him, but this is the incident that caused the safety car. It's Raikkonen, his engine is smoking quite badly, and it smoked for quite a while. And here we have Lance Stroll, just before the safety car. He had a puncture, that's why he was off at like turn 3 or whatever, just after the Kemmel straight. But this is weird. The safety car has got Esteban Ocon, followed by Daniel Kvyat, I think, and Carlos Sainz. So this is a bit weird. Ocon's now leading the restart for the first time at Force India. That's surprising, followed by the 2 Toro Rossos. So if this stays as it is, this will be a crazy podium, because everyone else has made the stops. But nonetheless, we are going through the final corner now. Valtteri Bottas, as you can see on the mini-maps, just parked outside the, like just ahead of the first DRS, the last DRS detection point in the lap. Nonetheless, we make it down the inside of Fernando Alonso, up into P8, chasing down Nico Hülkenberg. But I don't know why Bottas would have parked there. Just going back to that Bottas retirement. He's parked there. There's obviously not going to be another safety car. There's not going to be a virtual safety car either because the safety car's just been out. But yeah, Mercedes 1 car down. So Ferrari, so kind of. It's Vettel v Hamilton now for points. Here we go though, trying to make a move into this corner against Nico Hülkenberg. He holds it down the inside. He's got the better line, of course, but we have the better line for this corner. Go down the inside, leaving him in the room as much as we can, and that was a really good side-by-side battle. Although it has allowed Vettel, who's in P9 now, to catch up. Verstappen's ahead of us. We've now got 17 runners in this race, so that's 3 retirements. I'm not too sure if Stroll is retired. I really don't know. He possibly has, if I remember correctly, but we're trying to catch Verstappen. And Verstappen, I think, he's going to do 1 more stop, so yeah, he's on the softs. So that would seem that he is going to do 1 more stop at the end of the race, but we've caught up right to the back of him here, and I think it's like Esteban Ocon who's slowing up the pack, an absolute treat for us. Because, of course, he was leading the restart, and normally if it was Hamilton or Vettel, would have shot away by now. So this is going to go in our favour as we try to look around the outside of Max Verstappen here. That's a very dangerous place to make a move. Nip to his inside, and then nip to his inside again for the bus stop chicane. And we take him, Hamilton, and also Palmer, who eventually came to the pit lane and kind of did us a favour by holding up Hamilton. So that's us up into P4 on lap 9, so it's pretty much nearly halfway into this race. As we go into turn 1, nip it down the inside of Kvyat and Sainz there. And we're up into P2, quite an aggressive move there on Kvyat, I must say. Nonetheless, we'll chase down Ocon now, but I think he might have a problem. because he is extremely slow. Look at this. Look how much time I've gained through Eau Rouge on him. And now we're putting it up into Rich Mix. He must have a problem. He must, because he's not even like pulling away. As we tried to look down the inside, he closes the door way too early for us to make a move there. But we're going to stick with him. Now we're going to be right on his gearbox there. That's going to be quite the scene. But as we go down into this corner, down the inside of Ocon, he just about gets it. But then we come back at him with a very, very good move for P1 of this race. It's not going to stay like this. It's going to be far from it. But we're just going to try now pull away from Ocon. But now Jeff's coming over the radio with a strategy change. I don't know why, but he says go one lap earlier to pit onto Super Soft. But no, I'm just going to continue to my original strategy, of course. But it didn't take long for Hamilton to get past Ocon and company to try and look for a move down into turn 1 just after the Kemmel straight here. He nips down the inside. We just about hold him. It's like me and Hulkenberg before. But obviously Hamilton taking the inside line with the better car, of course, comes out on top of that. And then onto lap 13, he's pulled away quite a bit. He's going around for another lap. He's on the soft tyre, so he's pretty much going all the way to the end now. We're coming in for another set of Super Softs on our pit lap, of course. It's going to be interesting to see where we come out. Now, Verstappen is going to cross the finish line ahead of us, and I think a couple of other cars are coming into the pit lane as well. We're not going to get held up, which is good news. It'll be interesting to see whereabouts in the pack will come out, because I think most of the cars are now going all the way to the end on the soft tyres. Or they may pit very late for a set of maybe Supers or Ultras, but we're just behind Ricciardo. You see, you know when I said before that Ricciardo, under green flags, he would have been overtaken. Yeah, this is where it comes to bite back at me, the safety car now. But it doesn't take us long to catch up to Ricciardo, who's getting held up by Esteban Ocon. So thank you, Ocon. You are the best driver kind of I could have right now ahead of any car like the Red Bulls or Ferraris or Mercedes, because this guy's just going to help like hold everyone up. But he does have a problem. We're going to go round the outside. This is going to be very, very interesting to see how close it'll be. It's wheel to wheel pretty much racing there. Jeez, that was a sketchy move. Down the inside of the bus stop though. We just about get that done. Wow, and it's like a Max Verstappen move when he first raced at Spa. Jeez, amazing. But now we're in P3, but who's this coming out of the pit lane? It's going to be Lewis Hamilton. Is he going to get out ahead of us? We'll see. Just coming around this corner, and yes, he does. But he has lost time compared to us, I think, because I think he was much further ahead. He went around for another lap. So we kind of got a bit more time back on him, but it's not going to be like that for long at all. Verstappen comes in surprisingly, and that was kind of one of the predictions I had, which was some cars that were on the soft tyre would have come in very late for super soft, and that basically is what Verstappen did, which allows us to get up into P2, and I think we're going to come home for P2 as we overshoot the first part of the chicane there. That doesn't matter, we're coming across the line now for our second podium in a row. It's P2, the best ever position we've ever got in a race. I couldn't believe this. The safety car kind of helped us, kind of hindered us at the same time, but it's got us a podium. What a result.
Brilliant stuff from Mercedes today. That's another historic win. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix.
Well, we absolutely drove the car to its absolute limits. In fact, probably over what it could actually do to grab P2 there. Hulkenberg for Renault also finished quite high up. So Hulkenberg kind of took more an advantage over the safety car, really, than any other car. But then we have Kevin, who's just outside the points this time, Ocon ended up finishing 10th, which is kind of disappointing. And Ferrari, Sebastian Vettel finishes in 9th. So he's only got 2 points to Hamilton's 25. So that means Mercedes will now get a good chunk of points against Ferrari there. Stroll did retire. Bottas and Raikkonen were also retirees of that race. But we move up to 7th ahead of Felipe Massa. And only 3 points behind Verstappen there. And Hamilton moves ahead of Raikkonen to grab the lead by 1 point in the Drivers' Championship. Magnussen goes down to 15th place, just behind Sainz there, only 2 points behind, and only 4 ahead of Palmer. It's going to be interesting, the end of this season, really. Who's going to win it? Mercedes or Ferrari? Because I think Ferrari is starting to lack it now. I think Mercedes kind of will come into its own, like they normally do. But yeah, Hamilton is just 1 point ahead. And they're closing down. They're only 36 points away from Ferrari now. We are 6th still. We're tying on points with Force India, but they've had the better results than us this season. So obviously they get the spot ahead. But of course we gain a load of resource points at the end of that, and we'll get a good chunk of points on Hulkenberg here. We're only 2 points away now from actually winning the rivalry with them. Mercedes rep goes down for some reason, but Ferrari, Red Bull, and every other team goes up. Kind of weird how that happened. Don't know why. Didn't really have any collisions with them except for Hamilton holding him up. That's probably why, actually. But yeah, going into the R&D tree, or should I say the power unit. I thought I was going to go in the R&D tree. But yeah, we've pretty much done what we can. I think this is going to be our highest ever position this season. I don't expect any more podiums for the rest of the season. Just a kind of weird thing about power units. I don't know if we're going to need to have another unit or not. It just depends. But that's going to be it for this episode of F1 2017 Career Mode, a crazy race at Spa, second podium in a row. And to top it all off, we've got P2. So 18 more points for Haas. What can we do towards this back end of the season here? Will we be able to get more podiums, or will we be able to finish like higher in the points? Because our kind of like introduction into this season was just a bit poor for points. But next up is Italy. That's going to be a very fun race. I can guarantee you that. A really good race throughout. But that's going to be it from me. And I shall see you all next time.